Yogamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so I think we were talking about the chapter 16 of Gita, and that talks about the positive qualities of the that they call divine belong to devas, and the negative quality which belong to demonics or asur. In Sanskrit is asur, and demoniac, vicious people. So we are talking about this, but Abhay raised a point why people, knowing everything so well, why people behave the way they do, and why they get caught. So let's say spend few minutes on that. It's very surprising that people know that and still do the wrong things. Why? So the question is this here: the entire creation is made of two things. That what we said earlier: consciousness, or Purusha in Sankhya or yoga, and Prakriti. Prakriti is inert, and consciousness is the one that provides the consciousness to the sentient being. We all sentient being, so we are mixed up two. So when the creation occurred, they came in contact, and nature or Prakriti has three gunas, three qualities: Sattvic, Rajas, and Tamas. Sattvic means quietness, knowledge, light. These are the qualities of Sattvic. Rajas is the activity, running around, and little showmanship, planning. These are the qualities of the Rajas. Tamas is the negligence, carelessness, lazy, darkness, ignorance. These are the qualities. And we are all born in a mix of it. Mind is, the intellect, buddhi, is pure, sattvic. All the senses are rajasic and tamasic. So they have a natural tendency to go towards the nature, which is word, and word has a negative. So we all are inclined to go easily on negative side. Now, we are all born with certain chemistry, certain portion of sattvic, rajas, and tamas. You can't change them. I mean, you can change them if you are making extra effort. But if you just let it go, you will fall back. And then on top of that, we all have the sanskar from previous life, and those sanskars reflect. In a baby, they don't reflect because children are growing. But as soon as we grow, mind becomes fully developed, sanskars start playing role. So we have a habit of, certain habits each individual has, a specific habit of liking certain thing better than others, disliking something more than others. So each of us have a different liking, different hate, and we are born with that. So we are controlled by three things: nature, the chemistry that we have, and then sanskar that we brought, and then the influence of the people around you. If you move around with people who are alcoholic, in the beginning you might feel that I can keep control. I don't have to be swayed by these people, but it won't go very far. If you continue with socializing with them, one day you will be one of them. So don't underestimate the influence of the people you socialize. So if you are on this path, you have to be very discriminative. You can't, and that's what sadhana means. That your mind has to be, the discriminating. What you do, who do you socialize with, and that doesn't mean that you sort of isolate yourself in your home. You still socialize with people, but you be a little more selective. That okay, if you converse with people when you feel that they are your type people, they are going to encourage you on this path. You increase your social gathering with them. People, when you think they are completely on the other side of the fence, you deal with them in a diplomatic or nice way, but you don't make the inner circle. So that's a judgment we all have to make if you want to pursue this path. If you want to let it go, that's choice is each of us. No one is going to force. This path is only what you put in is what you get. You all came with certain sanskars, and we are going to go away with sanskars. And this chapter defines there that if you don't, be careful, you can go on one extreme, either too good, that which is good, okay, you will be like a deva or god, demigods, or you can be completely asur, demonic. And I'm sure a lot of people are. You will find both categories. Saints, for example, you'll find a lot of them on the positive side. Vivekanand, for example, is good example of him. Negative side, people can go extreme. Ravan is a history. Kans, for example, they were. But in the modern time, you can find people, when you see these verses, you will see that a lot of people have those qualities. Maybe not in that major proportion, but they all have. So this chapter is good for keeping us on our toes, saying that if you want to go on this path, be aware that if you don't watch your steps, you can be one of them. So we will go. We talked about nine qualities before the verse number one. I'll just go quickly to name them. Then we'll go to verse number two. Abhaya, Satya Samsuddhir, Gyan Yog Vyavasthi, Danam Damascha Yagascha, Swadhyayas Tapa Arjavam. These are nine qualities. Abhay, fearlessness, Satya Samsuddhir. This is the purity of heart. And then Gyan Yoga Vyavasthi, steadfastness in yoga or devotion and knowledge. This knowledge that we're talking about, you're firm in this one. You're not shaky. Danam, charity. Tamas, controlling of senses. Yagascha, worship. Swadhyaya, study of scriptures. Tapa, austerity. Austerity is controlling your life, not let it go wander off completely. Austerity has a good example when they say that your body is a chariot. We all have heard that. Our senses are horses. Mind is a rein. Intellect is a charioteer, and consciousness or atma is the passenger. If the senses, if the your horses go uncontrolled, you can imagine the fate of the passenger. So senses are the one control. So austerity means you're controlling them. You don't let them go, because if you leave it to senses, senses will take you down on the wrong side. If you let it just go easy on them, so senses have to be controlled. So austerity comes in there. Arjvam means straight honesty. Speak what you know, truthfulness. Now these are the nine qualities. Now we'll continue with another verse, number two, which has 11 virtues, and we'll go one by one, and then you will have another six. Third one, another six. 26 virtues, or you can call it a qualities, or these are the heritage of the divine qualities, whatever name. The verse number two is ahimsa satyam akrodhas tyaga shantir apashanam daya bhuteshu aluruptam mardhavam hiri cha aplam. These are 11. Ahimsa means non-violence. Non-violence is a term that we generally associate with being abusive. Non-violence can be, ahimsa can be verbal, by thought, and by action. You can be verbal physically. You can be verbal. Ahimsa. You can be maybe verbal. You can abuse people, or you can physically or mentally. So all three level, you have to be careful that you're not hurting anyone. There's another one. Satyam. Satyam means, we all know that Satyam means what? Diplomacy is one, but Satya is necessary. But Satyam does not mean flattery. Satyam means honesty with what you think is correct. Sometimes Ahimsa and Satyam can be conflict. For example, if you are adding somebody doing some killing, if you are helping someone, that's Ahimsa. But they give example, if some butcher is running after a cow and ask you, did you see a cow running around? Which direction did he go? What are you going to do? If you become honest, then you're letting the cow get killed. So it's a judgment call. So you have to deal with them. So you in such a way that you don't become dishonest, but at the same time you can help something. So these are the occasions. Then it will be tested for you in time when time comes. Akrodha. Akrodha means opposite of freedom from anger. And at the end, you will see three qualities: desire, which is lust, or uh, lust. What is the name for Sanskrit word? Calm, calm, krodh, and lobh. These are the three qualities. Gita says they are the door to hell. And these three qualities are the summary of all the 26 qualities. You will see them. All they come, if you control those three, you will control all of them. But he is listing here all for the benefit of all of us, the 26 qualities, so that you are aware what are the possible ways that I can be cautious of, that I don't lose my track. So krodh, I think we have to control. Krodh, that they say that whenever you are anger comes, if you can hold on for a few seconds, you take a deep breath, don't become repulsive or reactive. If you go impulsive or reactive right away, you're going to lose your temper, and you do something wrong, you will regret later on. So they say that the only way you can do, when anger comes, take a deep breath or count up to 10. And during that time, you will find that your anger is gone, and you can deal with the situation much better. So anger is the biggest enemy. And the beauty is, they say that when you want to give something, you have to have it. Charity, they say that you give, you feel that money is going out, but anything that you give out has to deal with you first. It has to go through you. So when you give something, it will come from another door. So when you give anger, anger has to be in you first. Who is hurting first? Anger, you are harboring anger in you first. So you are the holder of anger, and then you give it to other person may not take the anger from you. So you end up with anger. So anger is the first, you are the victim, you are the own victim of your own anger. That's the one negative. Other thing is, you're giving a negative thought, in the spreading a negative thought. Your anger is hurting you first, and then when you spread out the anger, then you're spreading anger on other people. And also, when people realize that you are a person with easy to lose temper, they will stay away from you. You may not realize that. And those people who are too loose temper, they are very lonely people. because they lose temper easily and people don't want to socialize with them. So you can see the negative aspect of the, you can maybe write a thesis on anger alone. What does it do to you physiologically, mentally, and spiritually? Spiritually is the worst thing. Mentally and physically, all the diseases they say which you have in your body come from your stress, anger. Whenever there's a stress, there's anger, hidden anger. It may not reflect easily, the stress, because you are trying to because you can't blow up in front of others to keep the social ethics. But stress keep all the anger keeping inside gives you all the problems of heart problem, high blood pressure, anything you talk about, they all come from this one. So anger is the one of the worst enemy. Then so akrodha means freedom from anger, and you have to find ways how you want to deal with the anger. Then tyaga, renunciation, sense of detachment. That doesn't mean that you give away everything and become a yogi and walk into a jungle. Detachment is from the mind. It's a mental exercise. You can be sitting in a palace. Raja Janak, for example, he's considered Rajarshi, Rishi. He was a king, emperor, but he was a detached person. He was handling everything as a detached person. So you can be excellent person, whether you are a boss or you are a doctor or you are a nurse or you are a mother or father. If you are detached, you can be a better person because you're not affected by the emotions. You are very, you are good in judgment. You will not be swayed by one way or another. Without, you will do so. Tyaga is the one which we all have to develop, and this is a part of the exercise that we have to develop the detachment, and the detachment comes from seeing what is negative of the thing that I'm trying to do. If I socialize with this gentleman next door, is it going to help me or is it going to create problem for me? So you are going to renounce the friendship for the sake of your peace of mind. So tyaga is a detachment which you have to develop over time if you don't have that feeling. Then shantir, tranquility, peacefulness, that you have to create. And you can't have a peace of mind if you keep insulting others, keep hurting others, keep destroying things. It won't happen. It's a two-way traffic. If you are an angry person, you're going to run into another angry person. If you are a peaceful person, you will invite more peaceful people around you. So good qualities, invite people of those people, those who are your type. Apassionum. People have a tendency to slander. Freedom from slandering other people. That is apassionum. It's very easy to slander other people because you don't see your own weaknesses. It's very easy to see weakness in other person. It's amazing. You will see the negative aspect of other person very quickly. First meeting, as you see, you will find something negative, either habit or eating habit or dressing or talking. You will find negative in other person very quickly, right away. You will never notice your own, weaknesses. Everything is fine with me. I'm a person, good person. Other person might notice, but you will never notice your own weaknesses. So the slender comes from the complex. When you have an inferiority complex, you try to lower the other people down by slandering them. So it's a weakness on your part. You don't have a self confidence, self respect. So you will slander other people, and you feel good about it. That I made him look good, bad, but it didn't. You didn't make him that bad. You made your mind polluted, and that will stay with you. Then daya bhuteshu, compassion to people. Bhutesh means people, being. Daya means compassion. So compassion to people. And compassion is a very good quality. Not too many people have this quality. They may have little bit of it, but that means real compassion. If somebody is in trouble, you go out of your way to help him. That's a compassion. And a lot of people, their jealousy comes first before they can do the compassion. So watch out for compassion. Alaluttam, sensual, prone to sensual activities, sex indulgence. These people are, you know, you have to be alaluttam. You have to divide up sex indulgence. Sex doesn't mean that you stay away from your wife or family life. Is control is a control balance. So that's what is important. Mardamam, gentleness. Gentleness comes from all the good qualities. If you are a person with confidence, and in your ability, you come across with humbleness. Humbleness is the next one. This is just being a gentle. Hirir is a humbleness. And the last of this 11 quality, achapalam. Chapal means fickleness. Achapal means steadiness, steadfastness. So these are that make 20 qualities total, and we will just maybe deal with few more, and then we'll do the rest in the next class. Teja Shama Dhirti Socham Adroha Na Ati Manta Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhijata Bharata. Teja means vigor, enthusiasm, whatever you have. Then Chama is a patience. You have to have patience. Sometimes people get irritated if they are explaining something to somebody and he's not getting it. They lose temper. They lose patience. Everyone is different, so you have to have a patience to deal with people. So you will run into different kind of people, bad people, intelligent people, not so intelligent people. You have to be very, very patient with people. So that is chama. Dhriti means fortitude, endurance. So endurance is required on this path particularly. It may not require on day-to-day basis, but dhriti is required for this path. So that makes it 23, and we will deal with the three more qualities in the next class. If you have any questions or any elaboration, I think comments, we will deal with them now. Then we'll go to yoga part of the class. So you can unmute and raise comment or question.
Oh, Dad, I was gonna add a comment.
Okay.
In Ayurveda, the thing I find one of the things I find interesting about it is that like the Ayurveda has the same as Rajas, Tamas, and Sattvic. It has Kapha, Pitta, Vata. In fact, they're combinations of the same those energies.
Yeah.
But like they're combination of the two of those three. So two of them, Tamas and Rajas, are Kapha, and then
Okay.
and Sattvic and, or actually I forgot which one's what, but they're a combination of the two. And my my only point was that I forgot which one they're paired with, but is that, like, for example, what Ayurveda says is, if you're not eating foods and also lifestyle, so some of the habits that come out of the qualities you mentioned, then you're, for each depending on what you're, most people are off, a little imbalanced because they can't, everybody's not tuned into it. So if you're vata imbalanced, you have anxiety. If you're pitta imbalanced, you have irritability and anger. And if you're kapha imbalanced, you have depression or lethargy or whatever. So the interesting thing I think is that from that lens, if you can also look at the food you eat, you can also influence your mental state, because your food.
Absolutely.
So even Ayurveda focuses on, like, I'm pitta. My pitta is like one of my higher qualities. So to balance that, I even take like this, like some triphala or whatever at night every day, because that helps to keep you regular, but also it helps to remove excess pitta from your body, which reduces that energy, which reduces the chance of you becoming angry or irritated or whatever. But interestingly,
True.
that's the only emotion that they mention with pitta, is irritability and anger, which is, if people knew that, then they might realize, like, oh, if I eat chili peppers, that actually increases your pitta, and then you won't realize, oh, why am I getting so angry over something little? But it's actually the food you ate increased your pitta energy, and that made you angry.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. In fact, what they say, that food has a very direct influence, as she's pointing out in Ayurveda. That's why the food that you eat, you don't think that uh, but tongue is the one which dictates your habit. But then sometimes you find that those tastes might be good to your tongue, but it creates a problem for you if your system is different. So that's why they say sattvic food, which balances. Food means which balances your all the three qualities together. I mean, it keeps you in balance. That's
Right.
sattvic. When pitta is the dominating, is a rajas, and then she was saying vata is a tamas.
No, vata. I forgot which one vata is, but vata is creates
Anything that
anxiety.
becomes lazy and all that.
Kapha is lazy.
Kapha make
Kapha.
lazy.
Kapha is a tamas then. So all these, you can see the relationship. So they're all related, and that's why the Ayurvedic and Vedas, they're talking the same message. They are dealing with the food, but with the same concept of keeping the mind and body in purity. So, and this path is a path of purity. Your comment is very good, because what you eat, that's what your thinking would be, and what you think, that's what you are. They all go hand in hand.
Well,
Aha.
the other part of it is also that, like, you might think I keep trying, but somehow this doesn't change, and then that's when you can go look at the food and
Correct.
your lifestyle habits, and then Ayurveda gives you guidance on, oh, what do I do to reduce this, and then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can start
Correct.
modifying. You know what I mean?
Correct. Any other comment?
Yeah, a lot of these qualities in the individual, every individual is different. They are either born with, or their upbringing, their society, their interaction with the people. A lot of
Right.
these things are there, right? So people develop these good or bad qualities that way.
Sure.
And
Right.
I mean, how do we, I mean, how much really they can be changed by
Not without
developing
effort. No.
them?
See, if you don't do anything, you don't have to do anything if you don't want to do. Then you will, whatever sanskar you have, you continue with those sanskars. And it will tell you what happens if your sanskar change or go up or down. If you make it a better sanskar, you will have a different birth. I mean, if you believe in system. If you improve your sanskar towards the positive quality devas, your next birth would be better. If you go further down, you can go down, or you can maintain the same. You can come back as a human being. So because we don't know the past, we don't know the future, so we can say, who cares? That's absolutely acceptable statement from people, but they all have impact what you end up with. So you won't know what you will be next life. So the only chance you have is to do something good so that you can be better person. So it's only for your good. And the question is, the Western thinking of philosophy is, matter is the basis for entire creation. That's where the problem comes. Western thinking says the intelligence, the sentience that the because I'm a sentient being, consciousness is a product of the neurological, you know, some chemistry going on in the brain. You can't create an intelligence out of the dust. Intelligence is a different phenomena. A dead body which has no consciousness, it goes into the dust, and the body goes back into the dust. Intelligence is not a part of the dust. Intelligence makes you, and this is where the problem comes. If you become too materialistic, you think that whatever is the word is only this will come. You will. I don't want to take away your thunder from, but you're going to enjoy listening. This will cover. People have the wrong notion. See, what you see here is a tip of an iceberg from the spiritual point of view. There's more to it, to your life, than just what you're seeing in your body and your social. There's a more depth to it. Where you came from, where you're going to go, all these things matter. We ignore in our ignorance that who cares about anything. Who knows? That's the usual answer. Who cares? These people suffer in their life at the last moment of their life. They they lament. They feel, worry. I should have done 10 years ago what I'm doing now. These things will come. So Hindu philosophy gives you opportunity, and the good thing is animals have life too. So many species of life. You don't know what species you're going to be. You got the human life which has intelligence. Why waste that intelligence on material things which will not go with you? Only good thinking, good thoughts will go with you in your next life. So judgment is entirely within to all of us. Should we stick to the something materialistic, and is just like a worrying about tomorrow, but worrying right now what I'm enjoying right now, not worrying about what happens tomorrow. So you can be, choose. You can choose what you want, but doing good thing to you, you're doing to you, and this human birth with so much intelligence is given. Imagine a cow when gets slaughtered has no choice. They give birth, they give milk, and get slaughtered by these people. Human mind is the one controlling the nature. You've got so much intelligence, creativity, and you are using it only for material gain, which has no meaning in long term. So this is you have to contemplate on this thought. Human birth. What the human birth means to me. Think about it, because we take it as granted that I'm born with all the luxuries of my body and mind and my family and all that. This is a good is a blessing of different kinds of blessings, and don't misuse or don't let it go by without doing something better for you next life.
Yeah, no, it's good to communicate that sometimes awareness of the good qualities so the people sometimes don't realize. And if we communicate the good qualities, what are the good qualities, what are the pros and cons, then people will be more aware to improve.
Exactly,
So that's definitely
exactly.
yeah.
So I mean, this path is a this is what they say. This path is for people who have the intellect to understand what it means.
Want to improve, yeah.
People who are, there's another good point. People who are low level of intelligence, if you tell them these thoughts, it won't affect them. Nothing will change for them because they are not able to think deeper the significance of all these things. So your level of intelligence will dictate whether you are going to be on this path or not. The very fact you are on this path, you have the intelligence of understanding what the meaning of goodness is, and what the meaning of the sinful act that you might be doing without knowing it.
But
So
even the less intelligent, we like them to be aware of
yeah,
things, and some they can improve, some may not. But by
right. I mean, whatever you can do within your lifetime, you can do better. And Gita, says, scripture say that if you improve your positiveness or divine qualities, you're going to improve your next life, which you may not know right now. And there's no writing, given writing that you will be a prince or you will be a pauper, but you will be a better person in next life. So that's the choice we all have to make. So these are very, very important things, and we'll continue discussing. This is a very good topic actually for being on this path. Patanjali yoga is a good thing to step by step to how to realize yourself. But emphasizing on these qualities is a helpful thing for anyone who is trying to go on this path.
Dan.
Yeah.
But on that same thought that Vedanta was saying, I actually like. We all have friends that have no interest in spirituality. They're good people, but they live in the world.
Yeah.
But they have zero interest in it. They're just in the world, but they still may be good people, and they could be super smart. They could be very smart, bookish smart. I mean, smart in the business world or whatever science, but they have no interest in spirituality. So I think that's sort of a grace thing that whether you have sort of the blessing of being open to it,
Absolutely.
or not having, like you're saying, I don't know if I would say it's intelligence. It's some other descriptor of what makes people turn to spirituality, open to it.
That's what I was saying, the chemistry, sattvic, rajas, tamas. The proportion of sattvic, if it's more in your character, you'll be inclined towards the spirituality. If the rajas and tamas is dominating, then you will be opposed to the spiritual values. So they're all interconnected. And we will continue our discussion in the next class. All right, so let's go to our yoga class now. We will have to take a little shortcut because we have spent a lot of time on good thoughts. But I think this is a useful thing for all of us to be cognizant of the what I should be thinking about.